Hello there again. I have another pickup for February. So this is actually from a weekly pickup. I was able to go and check out some sales. There was actually just across the border in Kentucky. There was a pawn shop that was having a big sale. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything there, but I wanted to check it out. And it was a game store that was going out of business. And then they've been going out of business for a little while, but they increased their discount to 50%. So went and picked up some stuff, few just kind of common games that I wanted for my collection, and then I bought a few extra like action figures and stuff that I might try to sell. But of course, I'm just going to show the games here. The first pickup actually was from a flea market that I regularly go to, because sometimes they have outside vendors. I actually met up with someone that I bought from a bunch of times before, and he had a Wii sitting out, so I went ahead and picked that up. This is a 101 model. Yeah, 101 model. So that's the one that doesn't have the GameCube hookups, but it had all the cables, sensor bar, nunchuck, and a remote, and he only wanted $10 for it, so went ahead and picked it up, even though I am sitting on like 6 consoles from a pickup I had a few weeks ago, but that's okay. The important thing is that I got a full set for $10 is a really good deal. Went ahead and picked it up. The next pickup was from my trip, and I went to one of the pawn shops that I always go to. They give really good deals, and they have a decent selection of game stuff. So I picked up 4 PS2 games. I picked them out, and they said 15 for all of them. I kind of walked away at first, but I changed my mind because they're just for the collection. So 4 games, $15. Not the greatest deal, but there's some okay titles, and I just needed them for the collection, so figured why not. Well, let me show those. It's Formula 1 2001 PS2. And these are all complete. Tie 2 Tasmanian Tiger Bush Rescue. Have the first one, so we'll get the second one there. Frogger's Adventure, the Rescue. I think I might have all the Frogger games now. There's like three or four of them actually. I think, kind of strange. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie game. A good one there. Yeah, all complete, in good condition. No real problems with them, so I was happy to get them. I did also pick up a Xbox One Connect. I haven't sold any Xbox One Connects. I did sell one Xbox 360 Connect, but this one was in decent condition, and they had it at this pawn shop. They had it at their front area, where they said like clearance and like make us an offer. They had 15 on it, and I was like, oh, would you do 5 on that Connect up there? And they did it. I actually don't have an Xbox One, so I can't really test it, but I'll probably just put it up and see what I can get for it. I know they usually go for like maybe like 30-ish, so we'll see how it goes. I just figured why not? While I was there, I'll pick it up for cheap, so we'll see how that goes. The last set here was from a game store. This is the other thing I wanted to check out other than the pawn shop sale. Was that a game store, like an exchange store kind of thing, where they have books, music, video games, DVDs, that kind of trade-in store. So they're actually closing one of their locations, and they had put up their sale to 50% off. So went to go check it out. I knew, of course, I wouldn't find anything crazy, but I actually found some decent stuff. So the first thing, I did buy 2 guides here. This Animal Crossing Wild World. You can see the price on there was $2, so I got it for $1. Pretty good for an Animal Crossing guide. And I also bought this Street Fighter. This is 4 official Bible. It's kind of a huge book of Street Fighter 4. And that was $5, so it was $2.50 with the half off sale. But pretty good, in decent condition. Yeah. So those I don't think I'll keep, but I thought they were decent pickups for guides. I've sold a few guides before, so why not? Now we get to the good stuff that I bought for my collection. So the first one I picked up was Knife Edge Nose Gunner, $3 discount. MRC, $2.50 with a discount. Automobile Lamborghini, another $2.50. So actually, yeah, 2 racing games and a helicopter game. Picked up some DS games, or DS PSP games. Kingdom Hearts Death by Sleep. That was $5. $5 for Innocent Life. It's like a futuristic Harvest Moon. I still need that for PS2. But I went ahead and picked it up to kind of complete that. I think that I have played that on the PSP before, because it sounds really familiar. But those are actually probably some of the better titles there to get a Kingdom Hearts and like a Harvest Moon type game. Picked up Heroes of Ruin. It has a Square Enix game, so I figured I'd give it a shot. $5 for that. Still pretty good. And then I just have four PS4 game or PS1 games that I picked up. RC Stunt Helicopter, it's $2.50. Rage Ball, that was $2, so it was only $1. Formula 199, $3. And Mobile Armor, it was $3. So, and those are all complete as well. The nice thing about when you're collecting, for an entire set, and you're looking, but you want to buy them cheap, is that these sales, you can go even when, it's obviously been picked through. There was no like Mario or Zelda or anything like that. Obviously, people already bought that stuff, but I was able to go in and pick up a few things, a few common games from my collection, and get good prices on them. I'm happy still to keep working on PS1. That's kind of become my main focus recently, is working on PS1. I've gotten quite a few games for that, and I'm really starting to fill out that part of my shelf with some good RPGs, then some more common titles, mostly a lot of the war games and stuff for the system. Happy to get them. This trip was over to St. Louis, the Belleville flea market that I've been to before. They were actually having a yard sale event, which I hadn't been to before, so I wanted to check it out to see how that differs from the regular flea market. And it was interesting. They had a decent amount of people, even though it was it was cold and a little bit of snow on the ground. And I was able to get some pickups, and of course I went to some pawn shops and stuff afterwards in the area north of St. Louis in Illinois, just to try to get some more pickups. But yeah, the flea market wasn't too bad, the yard sale I should say. But let me go ahead and get into it and show you what I got from that trip. So I did buy a bunch of, this isn't all I bought a bunch of some Star Trek ornaments and a few figures, just things that I thought that I could use for eBay. So it doesn't look like I got a lot, but I did get a lot more that you're not actually seeing, because I'm just showing the game stuff. So let me start. Actually, this is something I bought before that trip, but I wanted to show it. Was a new Nintendo 3DS XL Galaxy, and this was a let go deal. Or actually, it was Facebook Marketplace that I got for $40. Really good deal, and it does work okay. And it came with a copy of Pokemon Y, which I forgot to grab, but you can see that it turns on okay. The big issue here is that the 3D slider, you can probably see, is damaged. It's like pushed in. So unfortunately, that part is broken. And I might be able to open it up. I haven't tried yet. I'm kind of nervous about opening up something like this because I haven't done it before. So not sure when I'll do that. But this is probably something I'm going to keep. It's in good condition. The joypad right here looks a little worn, but other than that, it works fine. So I think I probably will use it. It might be something I use as my main one because I don't have This is my first new Nintendo 3DS. So yeah, pretty good deal. It came with a charger and the system, and like I said, Pokemon Y loose, which I completed with a case that I had. Pretty good. I think the Galaxy design is pretty cool, actually. But that was a separate deal, $40. So let me get into the yard sale stuff. The first deal that I found was actually a huge lot of, well, not huge, decent sized lot of DS stuff. So it was $30 for everything here, the 2 chargers, and then this DS, blue DS, the hinge is a little broken on. Let's see there. But other than that, it works okay. It just kind of isn't secure. But otherwise, works okay. Just another one that I'm happy to get for my collection. I only had my original DS, which is like a silver one that's pretty beat up. So getting a blue one's cool. And they also had a functioning, kind of dirty, but functioning DS Lite. So that's another nice one with just stickers on it. And that I'll probably just sell. I do have a DS Lite, a white one that I picked up not so long ago. But that kind of made it with the 30. But then of course they had some games just sitting there. So I'll try to show those real quick. I got Cookie Mama 2. Imagine Fashion Designer. This one is Big Mother Trucker. Juju Pets. You see this all the time. Sims 2 Castaway, where you get a lot of a DS and it just has a bunch of, common, not so great games with it. But hey, it's something I can trade in at least. Here's one that I might actually keep, Age of Empires Mythology. Not sure what that's about, but sounds interesting. Juju Pets 2. Squinkies 2. Not sure what that's all about. Pets Nursery. And there was one GBA game, Dora the Explorer, Super Spies. So there's those loose ones. There was a copy of Sims 2 Pets. It's like no manual, just instructions there, warranty stuff. And there was a copy of Minecraft for Xbox 360. So I picked that up. Minecrafts usually sell pretty well. So that was it for that $30 lot. Pretty good. It's stuff that, like with this DS, broken DS, probably not worth much since it's broken. But it doesn't matter because I'm just going to sell it or I'm going to keep it in my collection. So I don't mind picking it up if it has a little bit of an issue. So I did find a few 2 figures here. Like I said, I was buying a bunch of figures. Some of them had some cheap ones. So I bought Super Mario Luigi Hot Wheels. Kind of weird. I don't know why you'd want a car like that, but interesting. It was only $2, so I went ahead and picked it up. I haven't gotten too much into picking up game-related figures and stuff. I have very few, so I might start getting more into that. This is Sonic and Rings. Looks like it was a loot crate. It says 7 there. I think I paid 3 or 5 or something. It was something where I was looking at it and the guy made me an offer. I was like, sure, I'll take it. But yeah, there's just a little stand with the rings and Sonic. Interesting. The box doesn't show what it's supposed to look like, but you can see it's just a stand and there's like plastic to hold the rings, and then plastic on his foot to hold him. So okay, so the last 2 pickups from that flea market were just from a game vendor. I think he's there during the flea markets, so he of course has some higher prices, and I've gotten deals from him before by bundling stuff, but I just picked up 2 things from him. Hexen, for the N64 for $5. And I picked that up to complete a box that I got. And this has the manual too, actually. So I was happy to finally complete that. I still have, maybe like 6 or 7 boxes left to try to complete that I got online. So happy to do that. And then Bravo Air Race, which I also bought for $5. Might not be worth $5, but thought I'd pick it up. He also had like a Dragon Ball Z. It's like Ultimate Battle 22 or something like that. But it was empty. That I was gonna pick up. But yeah, anyways, that was it from that yard sale event. The pawn shops that I went to, just still trying to find some good deals. I wasn't finding a lot though, as you can see from the side here. These are from Game Store. But I found a few things I was interested in. We'll see how they go. But it was a bit of a rough trip after the yard sale. I guess there's sometimes just some areas, there's few pawn shops, and the ones that do have games are almost kind of like the local game store in a sense, because they definitely have like a pretty wide selection and they have higher prices. They're not a place that's taking in games just to quickly resell them or something like that. They're taking them in, and then they have like big shelves full of them. Like this, the first pawn shop I went to, I got Super Mario Strikers for $2. Now this was in like a bin of stuff I guess it wasn't selling, so I picked that up, which is a decent find to be able to get a Mario sports game. They also had Dragon Ball Z Infinite World, and this one I like literally had to, they had a bunch of games on their shelves behind the counter, and I had to ask them, can I see inside those boxes? And then I'd look through like a box or two of like Super Nintendo and any N64, high prices, even though they're not out. And then I'd have to go, once I looked through those boxes, I'd get back in line because they're actually kind of busy, and say, okay, I see a few more of those boxes, and this was in one of them. It's pretty scratched up on the bottom. Like the guy, it didn't have a price on it. Probably won't be able to see the scratches, but the guy said, oh yeah, this one's super scratched up. And so I was like, well, I would do 2 if you want to sell it to me, and he was fine with that. Fortunately, I have a disk resurfacer, so I can probably get it working. We'll see. I don't think it's not, I think Infinite World is like maybe 10-15 anyway, so it's not a ton of money that I was saving, but we'll see how that goes. Next one's actually just a case for Wii Sports Resort. It's one of those cases. It's one of those situations where went to a pawn shop, saw on the shelf, they're like, oh yeah, our games are $2. Looks inside, no game, and they're like, oh, that's weird. And then he literally said, well, I'm just gonna throw this away. And I was like, well, if you're gonna throw it away, can I just have it? And he said yes. So why not? Might as well get a case for it. Kind of a bummer it wasn't in there though, but that happens too. Like I said, it was a very strange trip when I started thinking about it, because of just the pawn shops I went to, and between not finding stuff or just having to really ask about getting to the games, and sometimes the games weren't even there. And one pawn shop they just had PS4 and Xbox One, but I saw Gundam Breaker and they only had 7 on it, so Gundam Breaker 3. Figured I'd go for it. Got that. It's an interesting pickup for 7. Might as well do it. Flea market I went to just to check out. The pictures on Google had like a picture of a bunch of games, but I wasn't able to find it. I don't know if they just an old picture or that part of the flea market wasn't open, but I did find a complete in box personal trainer walking set, so only $5. I figured I'd pick it up. Kind of interesting, just as a thing. So the next pickup was this is from actually some trade-in stores. I went to them just to kind of check for box games and like cheap PS1 games. So I found a few. Got Cruis'n USA. I got the box protector on there. That's mine, but it just has the box and the game. But the box is in good condition, so was happy to get that. Definitely always enjoyed cruising as a game. I was kind of surprised to see it was only $8. That's the kind of pickups I'm looking for when I go there, where it's a common game, so it's not very expensive, and they don't add much more value with the box unless it's something, pretty rare. So I'm able to pick up a box, and I actually didn't have it, so I got a copy of the game. $8, good price. Picked up 2 PS1 games: Plucky's Big Adventure for 3, and Gunship for 3. So that was it for that trip. Like I said, didn't really pick up a lot for the collection game wise. Kind of a bummer, but not all trips are crazy good, or get a lot of titles to add to a collection. I got a few handhelds, so that was cool. Definitely enjoyed picking up more handhelds, adding them to the collection. That's always fun to do.